World's best boss, because I'm a boss. This is my office. Hazard and Neymar, gonna compare them. Went through all their stats. Got a cool little whiteboard for you. I feel like narrow knowledge. But yeah, no, this is cool because these two players obviously are very comparable in the sense of they're both elite dribblers. They both mostly played on the left wing, and their actual amount of games that they've played in terms of like their peak years are almost identical, which is sick, as you'll see in kind of the stats that I broke down. So it's a really cool comparison. I will say, just before going into this, you know, Hazard played 7 years in the Premier League, and which is, you know, a tougher league than La Liga. I would say just barely. I would say La Liga is close. And then obviously Neymar played for like 6 years in the French league at a super team. So, you know, the numbers are going to be, you know, just keep that in mind when you're looking at the numbers. But let's just pull it up. Okay, so Hazard, Chelsea years, 7 years, 12 to 19. Games, 352. And then if you look at Neymar, Barca and PSG for 10 years, 13 to 23, games 359. So they're insanely close with the games, which is great for kind of doing a comparison. Let's look at the goals. So Hazard got 110 goals. Neymar got 223 goals, which is literally twice as much. Crazy. I didn't know that Neymar had that many goals. And we'll keep in mind, obviously, the Premier League is a much tougher league to score in. And also, we'll keep in mind the strength of the team. I mean, Neymar was playing for that Barcelona team for a good 4 years, and it was like the best team in the world for like 4 years. And that Chelsea team, while it was good, it was not to the levels of Barcelona. So we'll keep that in mind. We'll keep in mind that the French league is obviously easier to score in. He was on a really good team there as well. But he's still got to put it in the back of the net, you know what I'm saying? So we'll look at assists, 92, Hazard, assists for Neymar. We got 155. Neymar also is in the lead with the assists as well. I mean, he's playing with Messi. Who's Hazard playing with? Pedro? Who is he playing with actually? Giroud? No. Diogo Costa. He's a good player. Not as good as Suarez or Messi though. Yeah, who else? Willian? Who's playing Willian? Willian is pretty overrated. Anyway, so let's look at their trophies. Hazard won 2 Premier Leagues, nothing to scoff at. It's fantastic. 2 Premier Leagues in 7 years is absolutely phenomenal. 2 Europa Leagues, which is nothing to scoff at, and then 1 FA Cup, 1 League Cup. So pretty good amount of trophies. Neymar won 2 La Ligas, nothing to scoff at. It's pretty impressive. Again, not crown jewel like the Premier League, but still second tier La Liga. And then 1 Champions League, which is huge for Neymar. And then 3 Copa del Reys. I kind of included that because that's like the Spanish FA Cup, basically, I would look at. And then 5 league titles with PSG. My arm's getting tired. So yeah, pretty comparable with trophies, honestly. I would say not much in it with the trophies. Let's look at goals per game. Hazard's got 0.31. Neymar's twice that, literally twice that. That's crazy how it came out like that. 0.62 with Neymar. Assists per game, Hazard 0.26. Assists per game, Neymar 0.43. And then we get into goal contributions over their 350 games. Hazard's got 0.57, and Neymar has basically twice that with 1.05. So that's impressive from Neymar. And then we'll do the eye test. I'm just thinking about the eye test. So unfortunately, I didn't get to see much of Hazard. I was a young buck at the time, and I didn't have the TV to watch, but I watched so many highlights of him, as well as Neymar. I watched Neymar play a bit more for PSG, and he was always just a beautiful player to watch. I mean, both these players, absolutely legendary in terms of how they move, their balance, their elegance, their speed, their technique. Both, like I said, world-class dribblers. Both really good finishers, really calm on the ball. Great passers. Both were great passers. So none of them had neither had weaknesses. But I will say, you know, I will reach a verdict. I will say Neymar was probably the better player. Just from the stats are in Neymar's favor heavily. I think Neymar was in the discussion with Messi and Ronaldo during his peak years, and Hazard was just below. I mean, Hazard was just always a top 5 player in the world, you know, but just, I don't know, I would say if you're going to do Messi, Ronaldo, you'd have Neymar 3, and you'd have like Hazard like 4 or 5 or 6 at that time. 4, 5, 6, 7, in and around that. So it's a very, very close, you know, it's a close comparison, but I think Neymar was just unplayable when he wanted to dribble with the ball. And, you know, they both were, I mean, their styles were different. I would say Hazard had a little more power. I mean, his quads were kind of, you know, bigger, and he was kind of more muscular and shorter a little bit, stockier. Just a nightmare for defenders. And Neymar was a little more like kind of breeze past you like a gazelle. You know, I almost look at Neymar like he was a gazelle, and Hazard was like a puma. But yeah, you know, I just so that's the video. I hope you enjoyed. I just watched City destroy Liverpool in the FA Cup, and then I watched Arsenal crash out to Southampton. So it's a pretty good day. You know, like I said, I'm not an Arsenal hater, you know, but I'm just a fan of City, and it's going to be interesting to see. You know, the Champions League is going to be really interesting to see how Arsenal play against Lisbon. Again, Lisbon, not a team to take lightly. A bunch of Portuguese lads, a bunch of Portuguese chads on that team. You know what I mean? And they don't play with any fear. Arsenal plays more defensive. We know this, and it's going to be a absolutely riveting watch the Champions League, and then we'll see, you know, how City do in the league, because they basically cannot lose a game. I will say my predictions are looking pretty solid. You know, I've kind of talked about the title race in a couple of videos, and I stood firm. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that Everton win that Arsenal had kind of shook me a little bit, but I still stood firm, and I thought, you know what, Arsenal just looks like a team that are running out of steam a little bit and running out of ideas a little bit in terms of their attack, and Man City are starting to fire. You know, I think Rodri and Silva is the heart of that team, and as long as Silva and Rodri can continue to be the heartbeat of that Man City team, they have a real chance of winning the league, I'm telling you. So good to see Rodri and Silva back to good form if they can just push through the finish. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one.